Right. Can you tell me a little bit about where you grew up, what countries you're from, like whereabouts in the world you're from, if you grew up in the city or like the countryside?
Okay. So I was born in Serbia, but we moved to Italy when I was 7. We lived there for about a year in northern part of Italy, a small town near the sea. After which we moved to Moscow, Russia, for about 5 years. And then we returned back to Serbia.
And did you grow up with any pets or animals?
We had 3 cats and now we have a dog. But like the first animal that we got was a cat, and we got it when I was 13, I think.
Okay. And did you grow up with fur products in your household?
Yes.
What sort of things did you have?
Fur coats mostly.
Okay. And was that more for fashion or more for weather, or was it a mixture of both?
I think it was a mixture of both. Because we lived 5 years in Moscow and it gets up to -39, so it was a necessity.
Okay.
And I don't think that anything that's man-made can withstand the weather as good as fur
I've actually
can.
looked into it, and fur and like fur and stuff like that is so much better, and like geese and down keeps you so much warmer than the other stuff, and it's also like biodegradable versus man-made stuff literally just like pollutes the earth.
True.
Okay, what about leather? So did you grow up with leather products?
Yes, a lot of leather products.
What sort of things did you have?
Shoes, belts, gloves, caps, bags.
You had it all.
Jackets, pants, like literally anything. Wallets.
Okay. And do you see much of a difference between fur and leather, or do you have the mindset that they're
Well, not really. I kind of think that fur is more expensive. But that depends on where you buy your fur from and how much of it that you buy.
Okay, do you own any fur items, and if so, what?
Yes! Oh my god, this is so bad. I own leather shoes, I own a leather jacket. Well, I own more than 1 pair of leather shoes. 2 leather jackets. 1 leather coat. I own a fur coat and 3 fur like no sleeve like thingies.
I think we call them gilets here.
Gilets, yeah.
And do you think you have a full understanding of where all this fur and leather comes from? Okay, that's good.
I actually do.
I think that's morally something really important to have, in my opinion. And does that influence your purchasing?
I haven't purchased any of the leather / fur items that I own.
Okay.
Because they're usually very expensive. So my mom and my parents buy me.
Okay. But will they like buy it for you, or like will they give you the money and you go buy it?
No, they'll buy it for me.
Okay.
I never actually bought anything.
I'm
lying. I bought Louis Vuitton shoes last year.
Okay.
I'm lying, I bought the shoes last year.
And do you have any like hand-me-downs as well?
Yes, I do.
And
so
what sort of stuff do you have as that?
A fur coat.
Okay.
Because I'm Eastern European, the culture here is different than back at home. Because back at home, you have a lot of families that have fur coats for generations sometimes. Because yes, it is a symbol of wealth and everything, but it's also a necessity sometimes because it gets really cold.
And it's something that I find lasts so much longer than a synthetic one.
So there's no point in buying new ones if you already have something that works.
Yeah, you're like buying it for multiple lifetimes.
To be honest, all fur coats look really nice, so it doesn't go out of fashion. So you can have a fur coat that lasts you 50+ years without the need to buy a new one.
And when you're like purchasing coats and stuff, like synthetic over real, do you think about, this is something I think about a lot just because I'm very environmentally conscious, but do you think about like the environmental impact of the item? Because a lot of people view fur and leather as having a much like lesser environmental impact than synthetic.
Yeah, I agree. For me, for example, it's... How do I explain this without sounding very mean?
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
No, so I eat meat, for example, like I'm not a vegetarian, vegan, or anything. 80% of my diet is meat, so to speak, because I come from a country where we eat meat a lot. So it makes no difference for me to kill an animal for meat and then use the leather that's left when you get the meat to make something else.
Okay, now something I find when I put, like, I have a massive, have you seen, I have a massive mink coat and snow fox, and when I put that on, I feel like a lot more, like, extra, as they'd say, or like my personality changes and I'm a lot more like cocky and I like strut more, and I feel like I also have to like have more accessories on to fit the part. Do you also have that kind of feeling when you wear fur?
I actually don't.
So it's just like
in my culture, it's normal for you to be very extra, so to speak. For example, you always have to have your makeup done. You have to be presentable when you leave your house. So it doesn't matter what type of coat you have on. And then as well, maybe it's just the way that I was brought up. But having a fur coat for me is normal. Like, I don't view it as something that's a luxury, so to speak.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I grew up with the stuff, but I knew that I was like really privileged in having it.
No. I knew I was privileged. Like, I know I'm privileged.
Oh yeah. I know you know that.
It's just that for me, it became normal.
Yeah.
So to speak. So.
Versus our culture, no one really has like fur coats and stuff. But
I wasn't taught. I wasn't. See, that's the difference. No one told me. No one told me not to wear because people would get jealous. People usually tell me not to wear fur here in London or in the West because someone's gonna attack me.
Yeah, same. I've had people tell me that as well.
That's the
someone
thing.
Like throw flour.
But no one will actually attack you. I lived in Russia, in Moscow, for 5 years. Like, literally, the woman who washes the streets wears fur.
Oh, okay. So there is it like a lot more affordable? Do you think than it is in the UK?
It's not so affordable, so to speak. It's more of hand-me-downs for some
and you
classes
have to
of
see
people.
and buy it for life because you're gonna have it for life, sort of thing. Okay.
Plus, it's biodegradable, so it's not like you're polluting.
That's what I've been looking into a lot.
Other products pollute.
Okay, I recently became a dad to a little rabbit, Hugo, and you've met him.
Yes.
Did that change your opinion at all on fur?
No.
Okay, that's interesting.
Oh my god, this is so bad.
It's fine, he didn't really change mine, because even like Annabelle, my flatmate, and it's like her bunny, she has seen my fur pillow before and she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna buy one, and she went and bought one while she had that rabbit as well. I
know it's really bad, but we tend to get attached to things on a personal level. So I can get attached to your bunny, for example, but I can still buy a fur coat.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same.
Or something like that, because I don't
bunny
see animals as beings that have feelings or anything unless I meet a specific animal. Yeah. And then I get attached and I wouldn't kill that specific animal.
So it's kind of like
the whole
an
general animal idea.
V's a pet, because like pets are like loved and stuff, but then like any animal can be a pet and any pet can be an animal. So it's sort of like that. And you actually a cat you're wearing. Oh no, that's not rabbit. What was that? That coat. Do you want to show everyone the coat?
Oh.
Or no, the gilet or whatever it is.
Oh, this one. Yeah,
what fur? Do you know what fur that is?
It's just...
Or it's like a little like body warmer. Gilet.
It's doesn't say. Oh, it's a Chinese designer.
Oh, okay.
No,
But you don't know what sort of animal that is.
I think
it looks like chinchilla or something.
It's either chinchilla or rabbit. I think it's just 2 different rabbits combined.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, have you noticed that like a lot of fashion houses are pulling for like Gucci and stuff? How does that make you feel? Are you gonna boycott them because they're not doing fur anymore, or will you still buy from them?
I don't think that my opinion is necessarily the right opinion.
But every opinion is valid in a way.
I think that everyone deserves a choice. I don't mind them pulling fur. I think that's even a good idea because we need to be more conscious. I would wish they could give us alternatives that are also economically friendly and ecologically friendly.
Yeah.
I don't really buy leather and fur stuff from big brands
Mm-hmm.
because I don't exactly know where they get
Yeah,
where they get it from.
Yeah.
To a
I know.
degree.
I think it also becomes like a little more heartless because they're in it for the money, where there's some of the smaller brands
Yes,
can be
I
like more
prefer
like boutique handmade.
I prefer smaller brands where I know that the animal died humanely and was used for food as well.
Okay,
Kind of.
that's interesting. Okay, next is the Canada Goose coat. Now you know I have one, and I bought it because I lived in a really cold country,
Yes.
and I know you live in a country that gets cold as well. Would you buy one for fashion, because in the UK they're more of like a fashion statement I've begun to notice, or would you buy one for? Because I'm assuming you would just buy one anyway, because it's like a nice coat. But like, okay, no. First of all, would you buy one? That's a good question. I'm just assuming you would.
First
Maybe
of
you
all,
wouldn't.
I don't really wear jackets.
True.
I don't like jackets. I don't like them. But if you're living in a cold country most of the time of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay for you to own it. It's become a norm nowadays,
Yeah.
and you can find like fur stuff even in countries where there's no necessity
Yeah.
for them, which is like, I'm not judging people. I just think that our values have changed and we need to put them on
Yeah.
the right path, kind of.
So do you feel like you have more of a right to wear them because you live somewhere
I
that's
don't
cold?
think it's more of a right as a necessity.
Okay, that's actually really interesting.
Like, I don't think I'm entitled to stuff just because
Yeah.
I'm from a cold country. I just think that
It makes more sense
it's
to...
culturally it's different.
Mhm.
Back at home and even in Russia, for example, because I lived there while I was younger, no one will buy a fur coat just to own one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's no, like, people don't feel the need to show off
Yeah, so they don't feel the need to show it on
through
social media
fur
and
stuff. Yes,
Okay.
they don't feel the need to just throw away their money and be like, yeah, I'm buying like 10 fur coats. No, you have
Yeah.
one or two that you use for like the next 50 years.
Because what I've noticed with British culture is that, like, when I wore my fur coat the other day, loads of people wanted me on their Snapchat stories and their Instagrams and stuff like that, and they wanted to be seen with me. And then, like, I wore my Canada Goose coat to them. People were like, oh my god, you've got a Canada Goose, blah blah blah. And they seem to be in the UK a lot more statement than what you're saying back home.
Yeah.
It's like a necessity. Would you ever post to social media wearing one of these items, or are you conscious of that, or do you ever feel the need to like post with something expensive or not?
I usually don't post anything on social media. Like,
Okay.
I post a picture from a vacation once in a while, or
Uh-huh.
just a picture of me sometimes. But I don't focus on the stuff that I'm wearing or the things that I own.
Okay. So
I
you wouldn't
wouldn't-
ever say to yourself, "Oh my god, I'm wearing this. I don't want to get people. I don't want to offend people." Would you ever? Would that ever go through your head?
It's
'Cause it never goes
2000
through
and
mine.
like what? It's 2018.
Everyone gets
You,
offended.
everyone gets offended. You cannot offend anyone.
Uh huh. So you just have to like move past it.
Yes.
So just ignore it. Okay, back to your diet. Can you tell
Plus,
me?
can I just say
Oh yeah,
something?
yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry.
Say whatever you want.
Another thing is, like 90% of the people can't tell on pictures if you're wearing fake or real fur.
That's very true.
So unless you state like, oh my god, I'm wearing real fur, look at me, like no one will know that it's real fur.
Exactly.
So even if you take a picture, people can think, oh, that's fake fur, it's just really nice.
Mhm. Okay. Right. Can we talk back a bit more about your diet and
Yes.
explain the culture behind that, and also if it's influenced by your family or not?
My
And-
diet consists of a lot of meat.
Okay.
That's a cultural thing, because in my country, 80% of our diet is meat. We have the best pork meat.
So it's what, is there any meats that like you eat at home that you don't see in the UK, or like have you tried any like exotic
Horse
meats?
meat.
Okay, so you're like completely fine with eating horse meat.
Yes.
Because what happened a few years ago in the UK, there was this massive scandal that somehow horse meat was slipping into beef burgers.
Oh, I
and
saw
stuff.
it. Like,
And
we don't test all the food for horse meat. I saw it, yeah.
So personally, I'm fine with eating it. Like if I'm gonna eat one animal, why not eat another? But a lot of people got extremely.
I'm
like,
not
oh my God, I
racist
can't
when it
believe-"
comes to animals. I'm not like, oh my god, that's a bunny, I'm gonna eat it, or oh my god, that's beef, I'm gonna eat it. Or
And what
something.
about exotic animals? Would you be more or like endangered animals? I mean, sorry, would you eat endangered animals?
I wouldn't eat endangered
Okay.
animals. Purely because I don't want them to go extinct.
Yeah, that's
Because
for the
of
same
me?
reason as me. But
But
I'd
like
be fine
if they
with
weren't
trying.
extinct, I would
I'd
try.
be fine with trying
Yeah.
them. And do you think that living in the UK has like influenced your diet at all? Because more people like here are, and especially in art school and stuff, tend to be vegan and things like that. Has that rubbed off on you, or do you just not pay attention to it?
It
Oh,
hasn't.
and halal meat as well. If you want to talk about that and how you feel on it.
I don't mind. Like it's not like I'm gonna say like, oh, I'm not gonna eat halal meat. I'm fine with it. I don't
Okay.
mind buying it as long as it's good
Okay.
and as long as I know where it comes from. I eat organic food and I
Okay.
eat free range meat. I don't eat like GMO stuff.
Oh yeah, I was just about to ask.
So all of the animals that I do eat have lived a happy life on a farm until one day, but they have been dealt with humanely, well, as humanely as possible.
Perfect. That was amazing. Thank you very much, Tara. That concludes the